Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, support for families trying to get pregnant is here at home and in Washington, D.C. Local and state reps teaming up to better protect IVF patients.
And a local football coach is back on the job days after being demoted. How community came together to help him get back in the game. Derrah.
We have gloomy skies over Crystal River right now. I'll let you know if we can squeeze out a couple of raindrops this evening coming up. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Local and state representatives have teamed up to support IVF pregnancy for families. This is First at 5. I'm Rafael de los Santos.
And I'm Charlize Ramos. Representative Kat Cammack joined Senator Rick Scott today to introduce legislation for IVF protection. WFT's Alex Land joins us live from Representative Kat Cammack's office. Alex, you read through the strongly worded resolution that puts a women's fertility first.
The controversy of in vitro fertilization has made its way to Washington, D.C. Gainesville Representative Kat Cammack, whose office is just behind me, and Senator Rick Scott are leading a House and Senate resolution in support of the reproductive technology. The resolution says the Senate affirms the desire of families trying to conceive a child and expresses sympathy for their physical and mental struggles. Cammack and Scott also include the Senate's support for further clinical research for in vitro technology. The resolution comes after the Alabama Supreme Court shut down in vitro fertilization in their state. The court ruled that frozen embryos are children and a person can be held liable for destroying them. Cammack says she supports IVF because it helps women who struggle with conception. In a joint statement, Congresswoman says there is nothing more pro-life than helping women start and raise families. IVF has done just that for decades, allowing thousands of American couples to become parents and experience the joys of raising children. According to the CDC, 1 in 5 women are diagnosed with infertility. Senator Scott says he hopes to ensure that IVF remains available in all 50 states. Reporting live in Gainesville, Alex Land, WUFT News.
Right now, Americans feel buying a house is not the right move, but experts are saying differently. WUFT's Kirsten Maselka joins us live in the studio to tell you when experts say the best time to buy a home will be.
Spring is typically the most popular time of year to buy a home. However, some buyers in Alachua County may wait in hopes of a price drop, but that may not be the best idea. Buying a home is the biggest purchase many people will ever make, so they want to make sure they're getting a good deal. A recent survey says 83% of Americans think it's a bad time to buy, and some Floridians share that sentiment.
Buyers are being more cautious. They are making very educated decisions. They're being more data driven.
With single-family home prices rising over 4% in Alachua County last year, many may feel inclined to wait. However, the president of the Gainesville-Alachua County Realtors Association, Adam Gursky, says that may not be best.
The prices have not come down, and we're not envisioning that happening. So again, just to a buyer so that they understand what is on the road ahead, not thinking we're going to see some big drop.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, interest rates hit a historic low. Some buyers are hoping they'll come back if they're patient, but Gursky says that may not happen.
The misconception, I think, is during the COVID kind of unicorn years, interest rates were historically low. So buyers that were, looking and saying, oh, I'm used to maybe 2 3/4 or 3%, those days are probably gone and gone for a while. So you might save a little bit in the interest rate, but you're going to pay for it in the price.
According to real estate experts, buyers may set themselves up for a higher price if they hold out until 2025. Realtors say they anticipate interest rates to drop in the coming months, leading to heavy competition for buyers. Live in the studio, Kirsten Maselka, WUFT News.
Storms are behind us, and it looks like sunny skies are back for now. Take a live look at I-75 in Paynes Prairie. That's right, not any more of those stormy skies today. The UF weather team will show you how this warmer weather will be impacting your upcoming days. UF forecaster Derrah joins us now to time out how we'll be staying dry in your UF weather forecast. It's warm and humid.
That was just a gorgeous shot, Charlize. Here's where that storm is that brought us all that rain yesterday. Here's where it is now. Now we are seeing some showers slowly make their way further north, but we're not seeing any rain close to the area. Now that is trailing a cold front behind it, and that's going to be making it our way in the coming hours, and that's why we're so breezy right now. Wind speeds right now collectively at right around 20 miles per hour, and we'll continue to see those gusty winds as we head into the overnight hours. Now wind gusts outside the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at around 25 miles per hour, but we're seeing a lot more sunshine. That is going to change as that cold front continues to push closer and closer to the area. We'll increase that cloud cover, and it's not going to see the dry conditions right away. We'll still be able to tap into some of that moisture. I'll track out what the visibility looks like for your morning commute tomorrow with the fog we're expecting coming up.
Thanks there, Newberry High School's football coach is off the bench and back in the game. WUFT's Bradley Shimel is live in the studio with what has been a whirlwind firing and reinstatement.
Earlier this week, a Change.org petition stated that Ed Johnson was out as Newberry's head football coach. The petition asked for signatures and stated that recent decisions by the high school in Alachua County Public Schools led to his removal. Johnson was named head coach of the Panthers back in 2019. Since then, he's worked to increasingly make the team a contender. He started out 5-6 in the 2021 season, jumped to 6-4 in 2022, and then finally last season, the team went 9-3 and made an appearance in the 1R regional semifinal before dropping that game to the eventual champs, the Hawthorne Hornets. We reached out to the high school's athletic director today, who confirmed Coach Johnson was reinstated as head coach as of this morning. We are working to learn what led to his removal and what ultimately caused his return to the position. Once we have that information, we will share it. For now, reporting live in studio, I'm Bradley Shimel, WFT News.
Come say hello to Ocala's new mayor, Ben Marciano. He will be at Mary Sue Ridge Center this evening. Ocala Police invites you to talk with the mayor to share your visions and thoughts for this city. The mayor will be there from 6 to 7 to speak with neighbors.
Today, you can join a virtual public hearing about the I-75 improvements project from State Road 200 to State Road 326. In less than an hour, you can hear the presentation that begins at 6, followed by an opportunity to comment on the plans. The project will affect the main Ocala exits. FDOT says this plan will reduce congestion and improve reliability on I-75 by adding an extra lane.
Students traveling for spring break are descending upon Florida destinations such as Miami Beach, but their visits may look different this year as state law enforcement agencies are ramping down on dangerous spring break behavior. WUFT's Natasha Holt went to Miami Beach to find out what changes are going to be implemented and the reasons behind them.
Miami Beach is an ideal spring break destination for many travelers, but locals say those spring breakers bring unwanted behavior to their community. So this year, they've said they're breaking up with spring break.
Miami Beach Mayor Stephen Miner says in recent years, seasonal spring break travelers packed unruly behavior with their beachwear. Authorities say it has caused drunk driving, stampedes, street brawls, and deadly shootings.
This is a pivotal moment for our city, spring break. It's been a problem for the last several years. We've had shootings in a small area of our city.
In anticipation of swarms of students arriving in the seaside city, Miami Beach will implement policies including curfews, bag checks, and restricted beach access, in addition to DUI checkpoints, $100 parking for visitors, and a strong police presence. Robin Lemon, a visitor from Canada, appreciates the increased safety. She visited the city last year and was alarmed by what she saw. She says she's seen a difference in the atmosphere.
It's nice to see the law enforcement out, really supporting and ensuring that everybody feels really safe.
Governor Ron DeSantis supports the nationwide social media campaign targeting students who may visit.
Florida is a very welcoming state. We welcome people to come and have a good time. What we don't welcome is criminal activity. What we don't welcome is mayhem.
State troopers, Coast Guard officials, and drones have been activated in Miami Beach, Daytona Beach, and Panama City Beach to promote safety.
The regulations may cut down on business, but most people that I spoke with say that they're okay with that because this option puts their community's safety first. From Miami Beach, Natasha Holt, WUFT News.
Coming up on WFT's First at 5, a presidential candidate has announced their dropout in the race. We'll tell you what's next for your presidential candidates in the election.
Plus, we'll tell you what skincare products to be wary of for you and your children. This and more on your local news. Stick around.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Most know and love Florida for its warm weather, but those rays can have a harmful impact on our bodies.
WUFT's Kennedy Chambers joins us live in the studio to tell us how one generation is apparently increasing their risk.
Experts say the obsession with skincare among young people has skyrocketed due to social media. Beauty stores are now seeing kids under the age of 13 flocking to aisles to purchase high-end skincare products. I spoke with a certified dermatologist and a licensed esthetician to discuss why this may be a concern for parents. As summer rolls around and people spend more time in the sun, the risk for skin cancer increases. Medical experts say Generation Alpha, those 13 and under, are increasing their risk. The age of social media welcomes feeds flooded with content promoting extensive skincare routines and many anti-aging products. Malia Little, a licensed esthetician, says that the problem with kids building routines is that many of the products can cause harm to the skin barriers, leading to increased sun sensitivity.
When you're actively using retinol, you have to A, use it at nighttime because it will make you more sensitive since it's exfoliating, and B, just be really careful with how you're using it. But if you're under the age of 20 years old, you don't need it at all.
Board-certified dermatologist Cheryl Campbell says children should rarely use an anti-aging product like retinol.
You just have normal skin. You don't really need a retinol product or retinoid product when you're 12, 13. If you're having acne, then it changes things.
Malia says kids should stick to a simple routine: cleanser, moisturizer, and a good sunscreen.
You don't need exfoliants, you don't need retinols. Their skin just doesn't need that. It hasn't aged enough. They haven't had enough life to need that yet.
Overall, experts say sun protection is the priority. The American Cancer Society says Florida has the second highest rate of new melanoma cases. It is now more important than ever that parents are paying attention to what products are going on their children's faces. Live in the studio, Kennedy Chambers, WUFT News.
Nikki Haley announced that she is exiting the Republican presidential race today. This leaves Donald Trump as the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, leaving what looks like a potential rematch in November between former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. Haley chose not to endorse Donald Trump in her speech in South Carolina. Instead, she called on him to earn her followers' support. Her dropout of the race marks an empty space for Republican voters who don't support Donald Trump, but Haley said her goal was to make sure Americans' voices were heard.
And although I will no longer be a candidate, I will not stop using my voice for the things I believe in. Our national debt will eventually crush our economy. A smaller federal government is not only necessary for our freedom, it is necessary for our survival.
Haley has made a history as the first Republican woman to win 2 primary races, though she lost every state but Vermont in Super Tuesday's primary contest, leading her to not pull ahead of Donald Trump. It's that time again. Make sure to request your ballot to make sure your vote counts. The deadline to request vote-by-mail ballot for the presidential primary election is tomorrow by 5 p.m. You can visit votemarion.gov or call the number on the screen to send in your request.
Doctors say taking cold medicine as an allergy treatment is a mistake. Cold medications are designed to relieve symptoms associated with colds such as congestion, coughing, and fever. These medications contain ingredients that are ineffective for treating allergies because allergies are a different immune response. These medications can worsen allergy symptoms or cause side effects like dry mouth and drowsiness. The Mayo Clinic suggests using a neti pot or other natural remedies to treat your allergies. University of Florida student Joey Puel says he relies on those remedies to get through allergy season.
I just make a nice warm tea or something, maybe like green tea or like sleepy time.
UF Health otolaryngologist Brian Lobo says people can differentiate a common cold by allergies by their symptoms. Allergy symptoms include itchy eyes, runny nose, and nasal congestion. If you develop a fever, chills, or body aches, you may have a cold.
Conditions are improving, but I'm tracking our next rainmaker as we head into the weekend. I'll break down the timing for you hour by hour on the other side of the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
We're finally seeing blue skies again, much improved from that rainy stretch of weather we had over the last couple of days. Now, temperatures right now sitting in the mid-70s, a little bit warmer than what our normal temperature should be for this time of day. We did rack up a decent amount of rain over the past 24 hours, over ½ inch of rain for northern Alachua County, about 1.25 inches south of Mayo, and over 1.5 inches along I-10 by Lake City. Now, here's where that system that brought us all of that rain yesterday is now, and behind it a trailing cold front. Now that rain is trying to creep up farther north, but I don't think we're going to see much rain this evening. Maybe a stray shower, a couple of sprinkles for our southern counties, Marion County on south. Other than that, we're looking at drier conditions as we head into the next couple of days. We did jump up a couple of degrees from where we were this time yesterday. About 5 to 10 degrees warmer is where those temperatures are trending right now. We're at 75 degrees in Ocala, 79 in Palatka, almost 80 in Daytona Beach and St. Augustine, and 77 in Stark. Now, as we head throughout the evening, we'll continue to see that cloud cover slightly increase ahead of that approaching cold front, and we're also going to be remaining breezy ahead of that front as well. It doesn't pass until tomorrow morning, and we're not going to be tapping in to that drier air quite yet. We have that lingering moisture and the perfect conditions for some fog to form, and we're looking at under ½ mile visibility area wide, so this can turn rather dense, and you do need to leave a little bit early tomorrow morning, and just keep that in mind as you head out the door and account for any extra traffic. You'll be heading out the door tomorrow morning in temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s, so you might want that light jacket, but you'll be able to lose the jackets because tomorrow we'll be warming up into the upper 70s. So mostly sunny skies and dry conditions tomorrow and Friday, with partly cloudy skies here and there, but other than that, we're looking at temperatures remaining in the upper 70s. Saturday, though, here comes our next best rain chance. We'll see another cold front begin to approach from our west, and some of these storms could turn severe. We do still have to fine-tune the timing of exactly where this will trek, but other than that, you can expect to see some scattered to severe thunderstorms for Saturday. So that encompasses Alachua County on north. Now, the rest of this week, we'll see a dry stretch of weather Thursday and Friday. Rain chances increase Saturday, and then cooler temperatures return next week.
Coming up next on WFT News, it's always a good time in Gainesville when the Gators win, and sure enough, the Gators are winning. When we return, we'll recap Florida men's basketball's regular season home finale against Alabama and plenty more. You won't want to miss it.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Bradley Shimel. Tonight, Gators baseball will face UCF in a battle between two schools in the heart of Central Florida. For more, we're joined now by WFT's Daniel Haviv, who is live outside Condren Family Ballpark. Daniel, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Bradley, it's a beautiful day here in Gainesville for some baseball as the 4th-ranked Florida Gators welcome in the UCF Knights. Now, after yesterday's game against FAU was postponed due to inclement weather, the Gators will look to build on their momentum after beating Miami in a series just last weekend. A few familiar faces will be returning to town for today's game, including former Regionals hero Carson Vinfold. And for the Gators, Luke McNeely will take the mound for today's matchup. First pitch is slated for 6 p.m. between the Gators and Knights. Reporting live outside of Family Condren Ballpark, Daniel Haviv, WUFT News.
Thanks, Daniel. Meanwhile, the University of Florida's campus is still buzzing after last night's dominant win by the men's basketball team over number 16 Alabama. It was senior night, so you just knew the boys in orange and blue would not disappoint. Last time these two teams met, it was a shootout in Tuscaloosa, but this one started off a bit quieter. Florida went into halftime with a 9-point lead, and while at times they've blown these leads, the Gators kept the foot on the gas, specifically Will Richard, who led Florida with 23 points. He and 3 other players combined for 83 of Florida's 105 points. That's right, 105. That's the most Florida has scored in a home SEC game in regulation since 1971. Despite taking down one of the top teams in the SEC, big man Tyrese Samuel emphasized the importance of beating Vanderbilt this Saturday.
We got to go out there on Saturday and play a good Vandy team, beat them, and then it'll give us even more momentum going into the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament as well.
Florida will go for win 22 as they wrap up their regular season in Nashville this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. After that, they will turn their attention to the SEC tournament, which will also take place in Nashville next week. On the women's side, the Gators live to see another day after passing their first test in the SEC tournament. Florida defeated Missouri 66-60 in the first round of the tournament. Well, at times the Gators were in full control. The Tigers clawed their way back to keep things close, but ultimately Florida prevailed. The Gators will look to keep their season alive when they face Vanderbilt tomorrow at 9 p.m. And to wrap things up, we are 1 day away. That's right, 1 day away from Florida football's first practice of the spring. Starting tomorrow, the Gators will hit the ground running as they prepare for their first spring scrimmage, which is scheduled to take place on Saturday, April 13th. And guys, you could feel it in the air. Football season's right around the corner.
I know, and it's really great to be a Gator with basketball last night, baseball tonight, and football season coming up.
Derrah, like Bradley said, first practice tomorrow. Should be a dry one before the storms come in this weekend.
It will be a dry one. If you are out on the roads early tomorrow, though, we are looking at some rather dense fog, dry the next couple of days.
Thanks, Derrah. BBC World News is up next, but your PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
And your news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.